Check, check. Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
I'm Pat.
I'm Jeffrey.
This is... What are we doing, Jeffrey?
I'm only sitting 3 feet away from
I know,
Pat.
we have the distance. Half the distance of the goal.
Instead of, like, fucking trying to talk to each other or some, like, rich man's dinner table.
Have your man pass the napkins, you know. So, yeah.
No, man, we're so rich, the dude actually just runs the mic back and forth to us.
Right, yeah.
But we're not smart enough to buy a second mic.
I don't think we need one yet.
No, I was talking about if you were actually at, like, Bruce Wayne's dinner table and...
yeah.
And for whatever reason, they're sitting on both ends of the table.
Vladimir Putin's table.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And Alfred's just running the mic between us.
Remember that? I think that happened in Batman '89 when they first started. When Vicky Vale came over to Batman's house, I seem to recall they first started like eating. And I'm pretty sure they were eating just like soup with nothing in it.
Right, like Campbell's soup.
So it was just like vegetable water, and then if I recall afterwards, that's when he becomes human because he's like, let's go make some like Hungry Man dinners, and then they're looking at each other, and like she's like, are you eating that like brownie shit that you got in that top square?
So you ain't gonna touch that raspberry shit.
It's like, I got the apples.
The apples.
I got the apples.
Speaking of shit food, I actually had a Totino's pizza tonight.
Is that why your burps were coming up sideways?
Yeah, it was delicious. I actually ordered groceries today after my like scrounging all the soup and ramen out of my house last week.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because you're back, so...
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I was sick. I didn't feel like cooking shit. So, and I don't know. I got to the like checkout, give the guy the tip kind of thing. I said, "Did you forget anything?" I was like, "No." And it's like, "Are you sure? You should scroll through this menu here."
Right.
And I was like, "You know what? I haven't had a Totino's pizza in a long time. Thanks for suggesting that. Let me get one of those." It was divine. So,
But don't you think you'd be happier with the 89 cents?
no, I love those pizzas. I love them, man. I mean, and I can't eat the entire Red Baron. It's too fucking big for me. So, otherwise I'd get that, but it's too big.
That's not worth saving either. You don't...
No, it's terrible.
You don't reserve fridge space for leftover Red Baron.
No, you huck it over the fence. You know, let the raccoons eat it. It's bad.
Yeah, it's rotten. I don't know. It's the weird thing is I would consider Red Baron to be mid-grade frozen pizza.
What's your top grade frozen pizza? Because I'd put that one like almost top shelf, man.
Here's the problem. Is the top shelf shift I don't actually like. So theoretically, a number one is supposed to be DiGiorno.
It's not that good.
Like, you know, it's supposed to have that rising crust on it. And I've eaten plenty of them.
I've had tons
but
of
they're
those,
not,
man. So, yeah.
They just don't have that, like, cheap petroleum flavor that you're looking for in a frozen pizza.
They don't have near enough cardboard in them.
Like, close. No.
Yeah.
Like, you can taste the carbon footprint of a Red Baron. It's like, in order to make those, some part of the world has to actively get worse.
Right. Yeah, so, to violate somebody's human... I mean, Red Baron's not that bad, man.
No, there's another one in there that's just... Oh, Tombstone. Tombstone is lower middle class.
Yeah, it's like if you don't want to get the Totino's, but you don't think you can afford a Red Baron, but you can because it's the same fucking price.
Yeah.
So, no, I mean, I think maybe when we were really little kids, we'd get Tombstone pizzas every now and then. You know, that was back in the day when, like, you know, it's like, oh, Domino's is fucking expensive. You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, you only get like delivery pizza on special nights, like, you know, it was PTA night, mom and dad got home late or something.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, if you get pizza, you're like, well, it was the birth of Christ. You know, it's like, what's the special occasion? Oh, you know what?
Or it's your birthday or something.
You could do birthdays. I know every now and then we would get those if, like, that was going to be the event where we stopped at Blockbuster first.
Okay, yeah.
You know?
Well, then you get
night.
takeout pizza. So.
Well, you could, you could, or you just grabbed it on the way back.
Right.
Yeah. Where do you put the Stouffer's French bread pizza?
So that's like the hot dog and sandwich argument, man. So.
Okay.
It's kind of a class of its own, and I leave it there.
Okay.
The thing about the Stouffer's French bread pizza is it's much worse than you remember it being, because you haven't had one in a very long time.
You're wrong. I had one about 2 years ago.
Okay, I've had one within the last 2 years. They're fucking tiny and they're awful. So, but there is something about it that's kind of like it's kind of gooey on the inside, and so
it is.
Yeah, there's still something kind of special about it, but it's like immediately after I ate it, I didn't feel very good. So,
no, you're right.
I bought it completely out of nostalgia too, man.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you're just walking through and you see that burnt orange box, and because it's look, I don't know what to tell you. They made 4 million boxes in 1991, and they're going to use them all.
Use all of them. Yeah,
it's the same color. It's the if you want to argue that, if you want to say this isn't a pizza, Jeff, like, what do you mean? It's like, no, this is half a bread with pizza crap on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, yes, but what is a pizza then?
Right, yeah. So that's why I brought up the hot dog and sandwich argument. Yeah, because it's kind of it falls into that.
It's Velveeta.
It's Velveeta. It's a conundrum. Yeah,
it's the fifth state of matter. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cheese plasma. You know. So.
All right.
Which I do use in cooking occasionally still. So.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't endorse their mac and cheese. It's blue box or nothing.
So my daughter got one of the blue box like cups the other day. Those are horrifying. So like she's sitting there making it, and I'm sitting there looking at it. I'm like, what is this like ectoplasm?
Yeah, it's gross. You know? It's not.
Nope. That's before you even put the cheese packet in it, man.
Yeah.
So it's like literally like this syrupy slime that it comes in.
It's not right.
Yeah, no, there was something not right about it. I'm sitting there looking at it, and she's trying to mix it all together, and it's all like flaky, and like the cheese bits aren't like melting into the stuff, and I'm like, are you gonna eat that? She's like, yeah, it's good. I'm like, is it really good, or are you just saying that because you thought this was gonna be a good idea when you saw this at Walgreens? So
you can get burned on this stuff. Look, just because I bought that Twinkie ice cream doesn't mean that it was good. In fact, it was awful.
Right.
It tasted awful. I felt even worse.
Yeah. No, she said it was okay, but I don't think I've ever actually had one of those. So I've had the Velveeta cups, so they're not bad.
They're okay. They're not.
It's not blue box.
Nope.
No.
Nothing is.
No.
Yeah.
No, I mean, and we've bought like alternate blue boxes over the years. So there was like one time we were at
Great Value.
that shit's actually supposed to be better, but I don't go to Walmart that often.
Right.
So. But I've actually seen like YouTube videos where people do like blind take tests, and they're like, "Oh, this has got to be blue box, and it's fucking great value."
Wait a minute. So okay, no, see, that's the problem. You just made the argument for New Coke.
No, I get that, but
I know.
I'm just reporting. I haven't actually tried it. So, did I ever have a New Coke? I might have. I know that I had Crystal Pepsi.
I liked it.
Yeah, we all did. So anyway,
you all have a yearbook that's dedicated to Crystal Pepsi.
I do. It's my junior year.
Yeah.
It's Crystal Pepsi endorsed, which is gonna make it a great piece in a pawn shop someday when someone does my estate sale. So.
Do you still have it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw it when I was.
Or actually, no. Maybe it's my sophomore year. I think it's my sophomore.
I think it's your sophomore year.
Yeah, it's my sophomore year.
Because that's the soft cover one.
Yes. Yeah, it is soft cover. It's like a magazine. It's like a Sears catalog. Yeah, so full of dorks. Yes. But anyway, where was I going with that?
Oh boy. Well, you were talking about the the blue box taste test, and
Oh, the blue box. Yeah.
and-
Oh no, so we tried to buy some other shit because like, all right, at Costco you can get the big box, the blue boxes. Okay, so it's like a case of blue box. All right, which lasts quite a while in my
Sure,
house.
yeah.
All right, don't make it that often. But there was one time where they didn't have it, and so I was like, oh, okay, we'll try something else. So we got the Annie's one, the variety pack.
how's that?
They're terrible.
Oh,
They're terrible. So I thought it would
well, I
be
didn't want to hear
good.
that.
Yeah. So I had some of them like living in my cabinet as Holocaust food for like 2-3 years before we just like appropriated the packets out of them and put that shit on popcorn. So have you ever done that? It's really fucking good. You know, you make hot popcorn or something like that. You just sacrifice a blue box, all right, and then you have like the packet of cheese. You only need to put like maybe a third of it, so you can do this like 3 times. So you just sprinkle that on the popcorn. It's fucking divine, man.
Look, I'm just gonna tell you, like it's just something that wouldn't have even crossed my radar.
Yeah.
Other than like,
We did it because we actually got a blue box that had 2 packets in it once. Yeah, I know.
well, I hope somebody got fired for that.
Yeah, man. It's only happened once, man. Out of all the mac that I've ever eaten, it's only happened once.
That is well within the what do they call it? What is that? The
Tolerance. Yeah.
It's not just tolerance. It's the basically this many. This is within your tolerance, like whatever percentages of whatever like
Yeah.
Bose speakers are going out. They know that X amount of them will be defective by.
Yeah, your exceptions. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
there's a special term for it, but I can't remember what it is.
Defects.
Defects is what they have a weasel term for it, but I can't remember what it
Weasel
is.
term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it's just like failure rate.
Yeah, it might be. So, well, I'm taking some operations management courses where they talk about failures per however many, like failures per 1,000. So
That's the exact.
yeah, something like that. So like banks do it transactions per million, if I'm not mistaken. So you fuck up a transaction. I don't know, man. But that's okay.
Now I have experimented where instead of using the actual macaroni, I've used different, pasta that I
Sure.
have around. And there is something about that shape of macaroni they use and the size they do that makes it work best because you're not, Mario Batali, you're not just kind of like, so I put the shells in, right? And then I use this
Yeah.
box, stuff. There's something where it just doesn't, it's not right. It's not the,
No, even if like I don't know. So we get elbow macaroni and do that with pasta and stuff. But they're really short and they're almost like C-shaped when you cook them. So
they're either that or the ones, the extra retard size, the big, no,
the one with the grooves.
they're the Duplo of,
That's your macaroni. Episode title.
you know what they are. You're like,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
these are
we
for
call like
stupid
ziti or
people.
penne or something. Yeah.
It's something different. I'm talking about the actual macaroni that's huge. Yeah, it's just like my version of things. Like, you can tell this is made for like those phones they used to sell with buttons like this big. That's like, I know they're for old people, but
Right,
this
yeah.
is a Duplo phone.
Duplo
This is-
phone, yeah. It's the play school phone. You know? So-
Get me.
no, yeah.
Blow my nose in.
I don't know, man. I've done a couple things with different types of pasta. So, like, some of the pasta dishes I make, I do them with rigatoni. So, the spirally things.
Rigatoni's great.
It is great, especially if you have, like, a meaty dish or something like that. I've never been big on, like, big shells unless, like, you're just, like, trying to shovel cheese in your face. You know?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like even like the little shells, I've gotten away from those, on some of my stuff just because it's just like, all right, why don't I just eat the sauce? Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're eating the big ones, you might as well just go to the place where they're making the manicotti stuffed shells.
Right,
It's
yeah.
like, all right, this is
Oh, I haven't had those in a long time.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually had, so like doing a cruise and stuff was the first time I like consistently ate out in a long time.
It's wild, huh?
It was a little bit wild. Well, even in like Orlando, just like well, we didn't really adventure that much as far as food goes because we were towing so many kids along and stuff. You absolutely have to find a place that serves A, pizza, or B, chicken nuggets.
McNuggets. I thought, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, one of the hotels that we stayed in, well, we only stayed in one hotel. So the hotel that we stayed in had like a cafeteria. It was basically a family factory, a feed factory. Yeah.
That could work.
It kind of worked. The food wasn't terrible. I found a pretty decent like sandwich there.
Right.
It's like those cold ones in the boxes, which I kind of like. So
yeah, but you wouldn't want to go on vacation for those.
After eating like a day of burgers, yeah, I was
Fair enough. Yeah.
So, and I mean, it's just like have you ever worked somewhere that had a really good cafeteria? I've stayed at places.
Yeah, I did. You know what? Ent's cafeteria wasn't bad.
Mhm.
But evidently that has nothing on that joint in Omaha?
Well, that was corporate HQ. That one was
yeah.
different. I was only there for a few weeks here and there. And like the cool thing about that one was that if you use your company card, everything was free. Yeah, that place was pretty impressive, come to think of it. But like most of the other places where I've worked where they had cafeterias, see, I don't remember going to Ents, but I didn't work there that long.
Yeah, they had one. It was fine. It just yeah. The problem was it filled up with coworkers, and they're like, "Nah, lunchtime is my time for me to get away." from
Yeah.
you.
I always felt that way too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, but like at the airport, man, I remember getting so sick of airport food after a while.
That's different.
Yeah.
That was the because none of those guys were cafeterias. They were just like eateries. I don't even want to call them eateries. They were like you can go to New York bodegas that have greater menus than that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. In fact, I think all New York bodegas would do better than the airport. But like, so we went. I went to an airport that I'd never been to.
Oh, Orlando?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'd never been there. I've flown into Tampa, but I'd never flown into Orlando.
How's Orlando's airport?
Good. But like, so they're different. So like, remember our like airport? Like, well, I guess ours wasn't that bad. But DIA, when I worked at DIA,
Yes.
all right, all the fucking good food is behind security. All right, so it's all on the concourses.
Oh yeah.
You go down on the concourses, you can eat like a cod. All right, so if you're stuck on the counter, there's a few places, but they're always fucking packed because nobody wants to go through security, right?
Yeah.
All right, or they're waiting for somebody or something like that and can't get through security. So, but Orlando is the exact opposite. The concourses are fucking tiny, okay, and then the terminal itself is nothing. It's like a fucking mall. So, and I mean, it had like this humongous food court that had everything that you would expect a mall to have. It had a Wendy's, it had a Mickey D's, it had a Taco Bell, it had sit-down joints, it had like Panda, it had your SBarro. So,
The last safe market for SBarros, yeah.
right. So it had the pretzel joint. So, it was actually really well done. So, but like when I worked at DIA, it was kind of like one of those things. It was like, oh, let's go over to the concourse,
Right.
We go over to B concourse, which is where like most of the restaurants are because it's the biggest one. And just like, oh, okay, we'd all take the truck over there and just like, all right, we'll be back in an hour,
Sure. Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, it's DIA's is great. I mean, this is one of the. There's actually a very nice French restaurant in DIA's airport.
Oh, yeah?
I ate there many times.
Is it it's on the concourse?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. Well, each concourse has got like that middle pod that's like just got all kinds of fucking restaurants.
It's weird
and stuff. Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is
wherever. I don't know which concourse swastika I was eating under, but
It's just that's the runway, man. That's the runway.
Is that where I was eating?
Yeah. So
It's fucking hot out
it's
here.
hot out here. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess we should explain that for the listeners. If you don't know, go on Google Earth, and DIA's runways are lined out like a swastika.
I feel like
I think most people would know that by now.
I feel like the DIA controversies and conspiracy theories are well played out into. My favorite of which, of course, is that it is the underground pipeline for the wealthy and elite to go into the mountains in the event of a
nuclear war.
Yep.
Is that why they got that? What the Lucifer is his name? The fucking horse out there.
Oh my god! Yeah, okay, yeah, right. Whatever. Yeah, exactly. That's supposedly why they have all those weird paintings, and
they do have a lot of weird paintings in DIA.
they do.
Yeah.
They pointed them out to me like, "The hell is that?"
Oh
like,
yeah, they're everywhere too.
Like you go into these and you're like, we want to commission a mural of what, like smiling travelers? I was like, nah, just do whatever.
This was the first time I went to DIA and took the train in probably about like 5-10 years.
Ooh.
Yeah, because usually like before I so when I used to fly before, it was usually Frontier or American, which were both on A concourse, so I just walk the bridge.
Oh,
So this time I took the train and didn't realize that it actually had the Mr. Rogers trolley jingle. So,
so insulting.
It kind of is, man. It's like I'm not a little kid.
So you took the Duplo train?
The Duplo train.
I can't even say the word Duplo without it being condescending, because like even if I see it in a store, you go to the Lego things where they're like, this is like Lego signing the Constitution, or like Lego.
This is a Lego's friend set. Yeah.
You go in there and you go to the other section and you just immediately just start saying Duplo.
It's got to be like
the insulting. I know.
I get that, man, but it's got to be like the world's most ingenious marketing ploy, though. You get kids hooked on those shit when they're 3, and then when they're 45, they'll pay like $1,200 for a fucking Death Star.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Yeah, I know. I know.
So I mean, this is coming from a guy who almost paid like $800 for a Titanic. So and I'm not even a Titanic fan, really.
Knew you were a fan of boats.
I am a fan of boats, but not that one in particular. So now, if it was like the battleship Bismarck with the swastikas on, sure. No, I'm just kidding. So,
with the busted rudder.
With the busted rudder, yeah.
Well, actually, no. You break that. You'd have to.
It comes off.
Right.
Yeah.
You'd have to reenact the torpedoing of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. What a thing to waste $800 on. But they don't have like real war.
They've never done anything like that. Yeah. I mean, they got like Star Wars shit. And their space Legos used to have like lather, But they never even like introduced anything resembling a gun until they did the pirate ships. So
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and then, apparently since then they've done some of that stuff, but like, there's no such thing as a Lego M1 Abrams. That's where Roblox or whatever it came. Tycho blocks. Tycho
yes.
Came in. It's like, well, shit, we'll make the USS Enterprise, now. So, since you're not going to jump on that franchise, then after a little bit, we'll make the F-15 Strike Eagle, So.
Well, what Lego is like Belgian or something like that? Where are they?
Denmark,
yeah. So. I understand those guys are like, and then
yeah, considering how many times we've been invaded, I would agree. Yeah,
but yeah, the Psycho people are like, well, we do.
Well,
and
yeah,
we know tons of kids that want to.
Yeah. So, they're not buying model trains anymore. So yeah, the first model train set was made by Tycho. So
really,
yeah,
first ever
little loop that went around the Christmas tree. So made by Tycho. Still have it. So.
What year was this produced?
Holy shit, like 80? 82?
Wait, okay, that's your first Lego train set, right?
My dad's too.
Well,
so...
the first model train has to go back before 80, right? The first
yeah,
train
of course.
ever?
Well, no, okay, when my dad was a kid, he had Lionel trains.
Okay, I was like...
Yeah. So
really, was the first model train 1980?
no,
I feel
no,
like people
no.
have been doing this longer.
No, no, no. I mean, shit. He had Lionel trains that my grandma threw out that'd be worth a fucking fortune now. So
Oh,
they're
yeah.
way expensive.
Yeah.
So they're
Oh, yeah.
huge too. Actually, my father-in-law's got a bunch of Lionel shit. So I bet you I got dibs on that in terms of like. My other brothers-in-law probably are not interested in that. You're a dork, man.
Yeah. No, okay, I get it,
Yeah.
but yeah, I just don't know how far I don't know if there's something before Lionel trains. Those are the first ones I think I ever heard of.
The Lionel trains go back to the 1930s, so they've been around a long
That
time.
far?
Yeah. So, and then you can find some that are a little bit older, but they're like wood and stuff.
I bet some of those are pretty cool though.
I'm sure, yeah, but
I bet those are some like fun collector's items, yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I don't know.
Oh yeah, look, your family pitched some, valuable collectibles. So did mine. So,
Oh, yeah.
So my fucking grandma looking through my dad's. He goes to the Air Force. He's like, oh, this is a Fantastic Four #1. Jack Kirby is still leading with these losers.
Losers.
Like, I don't allow Jewish literature in the house. Shut this and
Right, yeah.
yeah,
Just put it in a box out on the street. Yeah.
it doesn't even say free. It just says trash.
Yeah, trash.
Yeah. No, actually, my bastard uncle took all those and sold those later on.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, and then lied about it.
Oh, yeah.
Kick his ass if I saw him again.
Yeah, so my grandma threw away my dad's Lionel trains when he moved out.
Didn't they have some collector's cards as well?
He admitted to actually ruining all those himself. So
okay.
Yeah.
Then he's my dad too.
yeah, no, my dad had all the Mickey Mantle shit and all that stuff, and yeah, he admitted to the fact that these made your bike sound like a motorcycle. So
Did and my dad was also very open about the fact. He's like, well, they didn't call them baseball cards back. They called them bubblegum cards.
yeah, bubblegum cards.
It's like you
yeah.
bought the gum and then you looked at the cards and most of the time you just threw them away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's like that was just a gimmick.
yeah. So I don't know, man. I had some things that'd probably be worth a little bit of money now if I'd actually hung on to them. So, or taken care of. So, like, the Metal Optimus Prime, which my brother and I used to use as a weapon.
Oh yeah.
We bashed that thing to pieces.
Those. Okay, so here's the thing: is
It was actually his. Come to think of it.
I've looked at that market.
Mm-hmm.
There's only a few of those at this point that are really catching like exorbitant prices, and they have to be in the box.
Yeah, no, there's no way ours are in a box. He had that one. I had a metal Jazz, and I think he had Starscream. And then we had almost all the plastic ones for maybe about a year or two of the run.
Yeah.
All the way up to the Dinobots and stuff. But they broke so easily, so they were trash. I remember Grimlock broke like the weekend we had him.
Depends on which part you broke.
It was his like
his
shoulder
arm.
piece. Yeah. It busted right off. So I mean, you could still use them, but he had a busted shoulder.
That's the shoulder piece.
Yeah, he was missing a shoulder piece. So
No, a lot of those happen like that, and like on those first runs, the Autobot cars, a lot of those people have the doors broken off.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff like that.
he had one. I had Jazz. He had another one that was white with green and red striping. That was metal that the door broke off of. So I can't remember what that guy's name was. It was like a NASCAR. So if I'm not mistaken.
It was like a NASCAR. Well, okay, so the police car would have been Prowl, but if it was like a
Didn't have Prowl.
NASCAR, that would have been Smokescreen.
It might have been Smokescreen. That
Yeah.
sounds right.
Yeah, because it had like racing livery.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, those if they're loose, 25.
Oh, okay, not that big a deal. Yeah.
No, I thought the same thing for a while. It's just it's the rarity of them is the inbox, and
Yeah.
you're really only going to get huge prices if the box has just never been opened.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You can get a box, some of the rare ones for $250.
Oh, that's not bad.
$250, $300.
Yeah. Okay. No. So you're not going to cash out on any.
No,
of those things.
no. It's not like you're coming across, Amazing Fantasy 15 first edition of Spider-Man. That's like, that's the thing that you're like going. It's like, I didn't know my house had a crawl space, and then you go in there, it's like, holy shit. Yeah.
Straight out of Hoovius?
Planes are upside down. Yeah.
Junk. This painting's torn. Yeah.
Well, and part of that too is a lot of those those toys and stuff, right? There was a time when you could get 500 to 1,000 for stuff like that, but that was the thing. Was you and I have, what do they call it? I remember Seuss called it this once. She was making fun of her fiance. She was like, it's Peter Pan syndrome. It's
Peter
like,
Pan syndrome.
Yeah, it's like you never grow up.
Oh yeah.
And she was just joking about it. It was like, look, I can't, argue. I understand, but the companies that own these IPs, they figured that out a while ago, and they just did reissues. And like, there's this argument they say like, but they're not the original run. Turns out that most people don't care.
Yeah, no, they just want that piece from their childhood back. They don't care if it's brand spanking new. Yeah. If it was manufactured in China last week. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's very true. So, I mean, it'd be a weird market. You'd have to be pretty eccentric to insist upon actually having original Transformers or something,
There are
people like that, yeah. So,
and again, if you're a real collector, you want it, and you want it in that original packaging. Like, sure, I don't find that very fun. I've bought some old ones, and it's like, well, dude, I'm going to take it out and play with it.
Right? Yeah.
So that's why I bought it.
Right.
But there are people. It's like, nope, I'm just gonna remember that I have this and put it in the closet and
let it sit.
Let it sit
forever. Yeah. I don't know, man. So there's better investments out there. Right. There are much better investments out there. So.
Yeah, dude. Like, very few people won at the white trash, stock market. Very few.
You got to know exactly when to get out, man. So you got to time that like a motherfucker.
Name one Beanie Baby tycoon.
I can't do it. I know there is one out there somewhere.
We don't know him.
Yeah, we don't know him. Or her. Yeah.
Yeah, could be a she.
So, totally. No. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know, man. There are a million better ways and easier ways to get rich than that. Than to, like, sit on a bunch of stuff like that for 20 years. Only to watch the company that made it originally completely undercut your investment. Yeah. So like, oh wait, we have the machine that makes these. Right. So yeah.
Right.
So the IP is ours, not yours. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Well, that being said, I'm going to flip this around and also say, if you're having fun collecting it though, then no problem.
No, you spend your money on whatever you want, man.
Enjoy. For some people, like, I can remember great times with my brother and my dad and all this stuff, and they were like, oh, I can't find this last one. Let's go to another shop, right?
Yeah.
There's that flea markets exist for a reason, stuff like that. I remember my mom was, I would put this in the same vein as garage sailing, because she used to love doing that.
Yeah, my mom did too. Still does a little bit, so... Doesn't go out of her own neighborhood, though.
Oh, well, that's even better.
Yeah, I think she's gotten a little bit more, like, chill about it. She says, I got enough junk in my house. So, yeah, you kind of do, yeah.
So does my mom.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know, man. Like, the collector's bug only bit me a couple times. So, and now it's like... I don't even know what, if anything, I would collect anymore. So, um,
It would have to be something so like I don't want to say esoteric, but it would be like legitimate historical pieces, and I am not in that market.
yeah, no, yeah, I could see that. If you just wanted, like, I don't know, the bullet that shot Alexander Hamilton or something.
You know who has it?
No, I
Whose
don't.
collection
It's
is it?
probably in
Yeah.
the Smithsonian. You know,
Yeah.
you never know. You draw enough zeros on the check, they might give it up. You know. So, but yeah, there's like, I don't know, man. The last couple times that I got like mildly bit by the collector's bug, I was like, this just leads to bad places. You know, you don't need this shit. So. And then the last couple moves that I've had to make, it's like, we need to shed this. So I have lugged all my geos around like 4 times, man. That's the last major
If it
collection
happens
that I
again,
have.
do they go?
I don't think so, just because, like, if I move one more time, that'll probably be the last house I ever buy. So, you know,
Yeah, okay, I got it. I got it. Look, I guess this is the thing is, I've done this and you've done this.
Mhm.
If you've ever had to pay an agency to come over and haul your shit away,
yeah.
you sort of rethink things. You're like, how did this happen?
Yeah, why is it this way? Or when you get excited because one of your friends is getting a 20-yard dumpster. So, you know, yeah. So, it is just like, I mean, like right now, my house is getting a little cluttered. So, you know,
Yeah, me too.
last time we decluttered was when we moved, and it's been about 7 years now. So.
Well, didn't you have some junk dudes just come on by and...
Oh no, that's true. We did
Yeah.
that like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
yeah, and I accidentally threw away some of my board games. That's right. That did happen. So, now maybe I'm a little gun shy now, but
You're not that gun shy.
Not that
you
gun shy.
haven't added new... You don't buy anything. You don't...
I was getting on a board game kick there for a little bit.
That's hardly a kick.
Yeah, I know. So, but they're not cheap. So,
Well, no,
Yeah.
but it's also not. You're also not saying to like your wife, it's like, well, every check I'm gonna get 2.
no,
You know,
Yeah.
you don't buy that much.
Right? Yeah, I don't buy guns with every paycheck.
Okay, all right. So I've seen guys that collect those.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not even talking about like, oh, these were all the SS weapons. These were all... Because that's it's like, man, your collection is this was used, man.
This was used.
No, I'm just talking about like
You can keep that. It's
I saw guys that would just like suck a great deal on like a 6 hour, and
right. Yeah.
it's like these usually go for $900. I got it for 6.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, because I also know those people are like, so if somebody offered you 9 for it right in a second,
Yeah.
I would then take that $300 and put it into something else.
Yeah. Go buy another gun.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know what? To their credit, those guys shoot.
Yeah. I don't shoot near as much to actually justify that anymore. So
I won't discredit anybody that buys weapons and actually uses them. Right.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you have a Civil War saber above your fireplace, right?
That yeah. All right. That's a little different. So, but I don't know, man. There is also a level of gun collection that's definitely nutty. So yeah. Yeah, it's like the what was the loadout in Call of Duty?
What?
No, there was one that you and I figured out at one point in time where it was basically bare bones minimum because it was so fucking good. I can't remember what it was.
Bare bones minimum.
Yeah, it was like you needed this gun, but you just wanted 2 of them so you could just switch real fast.
Oh, okay. Well,
What was that?
It was the Fad 2000.
It was
and
the Fad. Yeah, you
and
wanted
there was-
the mini Fad.
I don't remember the exact name, but it looked the same and functioned almost exactly identically.
Right.
The same. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was basically like, well, you collect all these guns and you can use all these like really esoteric weapons and things like that. But if you're actually doing this just to play, all right, you couldn't beat this combo because it was just like the same gun twice. It was
correct.
that fucking good. Yeah. And so like I see people who like, they're always chasing that perfect gun, but they never get rid of any of the other ones over the years.
Great question. Yeah.
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 Oh, God, was that Modern Warfare 3?
It absolutely was.
Okay,
yeah.
all right. That was the one with Arrakis, wasn't it?
It was. So
that was the one with the rebound kill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Modern Warfare 3 was also known as Modern Warfare 3 Vesties.
Vesties.
And
you drop Vesties and layered air attack.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That was. You guys made a mistake there.
They totally made a mistake. You figured it out in about 5 minutes. So
you know, that's kind of where I am with Age of Empires. Actually, I'm not a genius, okay, and I certainly am not an RTS person, right?
I'm still bad at it. Enlighten me.
I'm bad at like the combat part, but the thing was, so the game has certain behavioral components where, again, it's not like I'm not kiting the AI, but what I am saying is, well, if you've given me certain bonuses and you guys really aren't, doing, heavy duty restrictions on this, then I can certainly use this to my advantage. I'm like, well, so I get a distance and damage bonus if I put archers up on walls or on something high. I'm like, all right, well, then what I'll do is when I go to combat, okay, I'm gonna take like a 15 deep row of workers with me, and I'm going to build like a small section of wall, okay, and a gate so that the archers can climb up it, okay, and so when the dudes come in, they're getting shot out, ahead of time. They're still going to engage in combat, but they're getting peppered with arrows well before they come to my territory, and my guys are getting a damage bonus.
Do that with like a stone gate. So they got to bring a ram or something to bash it down, otherwise they just get picked to pieces.
Well, the thing is, their guys can go up the stairs in the stone gate too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You just have to not let them. Or the other thing that you can do is you can say, all right, well, it's up to me to determine what land is mine and what I decide to gate. So if I decide that I'm going to Great Wall of China this world, right? So I'm like, all right, well, you're over here. So I'm just going to build this gigantic stone gate that goes over to where your territories are.
So you just build a creeping wall towards them?
I've done that too, right? So again, I'm not trying to game the system. What I'm trying to say is my brain does not work with the multitasking aspect of this. So what advantages do I have?
Yeah. You have besties.
I'm like, oh, okay. Well, they still can get over here, and there are times where it's like, okay, well, how do you beat that? Well, trust me, siege engines will get the job done.
Yeah.
You can do things like that to get around it.
Are you playing skirmishes or are you doing the campaign stuff?
I'm doing the campaign stuff.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm having just I'm past the English section. I'm into the Russian section. I'm fighting with the Mongols.
I was gonna skip ahead and do the Mongol one. So
I loved that English section though.
It seems pretty cool. I got all the way up to the point in time where you fight the French king.
That's a hard one.
That one wasn't that hard. So
no, okay,
no. But I'm playing it on easy. So just because like the micro behind like actually setting up your economy and stuff is just like it's too much for my 44-year-old brain. So and so like I have to like, all right, crank out a shitload of guys, lock this place down. Now I can focus on my economy for the next 25 minutes. So
which is totally valid.
Yeah, while I build a 200-man army and just get this done.
Which, oddly enough, is the most analogous thing to actual combat of the era.
Probably.
Did you also play with like the formations?
Oh yeah, I use them all the time.
Yeah, that actually counts.
Oh no, and I tell my guys, don't fucking chase after them. I'm like, you stand where I put you, bitch.
And you do the thing with the archers where you tell them to set up camps and heal and stuff. I'm like, this is good stuff. There's a million things in here to forget. Like, I do love that there's a ton of different ways to play. That's why I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, it's okay, but like the skirmishes that I've been fighting, where you have to handle like 5 different things at once, they hurt my brain. And so I've kind of developed this strategy where it's like, okay, just make this fucking pincushion of dudes. Okay, and they'll come after you, but I've got the pokey sticks. All right, and so we're just gonna stand here, and we're gonna wait for that first attack, and then I'm gonna build my little fort around me, and then I'm gonna turtle up, and then I'm gonna make 200 fucking guys, and then I'm gonna come get you in 35 minutes. You know? So,
Totally valid. That's
it's the only strategy I can do, man, because like trying to like the whole like the old red alert thing that I used to do, where it was like make light tanks, send them over there, just let them die. You keep working, click on this, and build this shit up and blah blah blah. Even in Warcraft 3, I was actually pretty good at that, But nowadays, I just can't do it, man. So
No.
I'm just like, I'm sorry, I'm too old for this game,
Oh, I agree. Look,
Yeah.
there's no version of this where you can't go to the computer and say 1v1 no Beavis.
Right,
Right?
no Beavis says, yeah, there's no house rules. Yeah, no tank rush. No sandbags.
5 minute no
Yeah.
Beavis, no tank rush, no
No harvester
no harvester
hunting.
hunting. Yeah. And that's another one of those things where I'm looking at this game and I was like, oh, you bottlenecked me on this, where you notice so like there are gold mines, and I'm like, oh, I've been through this before.
Oh yeah, this thing seems familiar.
But then the game is like, well, gold helps, but you have more than one way to get it.
Yeah, you can get it a couple different ways.
Like
So-
you say, so you don't have gold, huh? It's like, yeah, that's like, I got like 500 farms though. It's like, well, you can sell your food for cash.
yeah.
It's like, really, what is this? You call it a market, but it's really like a pawn shop.
Right, yeah. You need to pawn this baggage.
Yeah, you go in there, it's like you're walking in with like sacks of food.
Right,
And they're
yeah.
like, where'd you get it?
That's right.
So
Well, someone coming in here telling me that he's missing 500 sacks of food.
yeah, this wouldn't have anything to do with all those frozen patties that got stolen from Wendy's, right?
Right. Yeah. So.
Because you're selling me 500 frozen Wendy's patties.
Right. Yeah.
Oh no, these have been in my family for years.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Never frozen beef.
Got them in a garage
Yeah.
sale.
Yeah. Got them in a garage sale.
Wow.
So.
Now, there is something cool to this where I have not played a game like this in God knows how long. And
I played a couple. The last one that
like this? Or
the last one that I played was Company of Heroes, which was a World War II one.
okay.
I was actually pretty good at that one. All right.
Okay.
It had a tech tree in it and stuff like that. In fact, I still have it in my Steam account, but for some reason it won't run on my new machine. It used to run on my old one.
That's stupid.
It's weird, man. So every time I load it up, it just goes black screen on me. So
Unacceptable.
tried it a couple different ways, and I don't know. So who knows? Some games do that on that, man. So
I guess. I thought you were going to
if it's an older game. So
I was thinking you were playing like fucking, what is it, like Europa Universalis or whatever.
EU4? No, man, I never got into that one. That's not
No, that's what I was like, that's not what you're talking about.
No. I never got into that one. I did fire up the Rome one.
Did you say that one sucks?
It's terrible, man. It didn't get any better. So, Imperator or whatever, Imperator. So,
that's okay.
yeah, it's a Paradox game. I thought it was gonna be badass, like CK.
That's CK with Rome.
CK with Rome.
Yeah.
So, but it's not CK with Rome. So it's dumb. So you like the cool thing about CK was like you really got invested in your dudes. So like. I mean, the fun thing in that game would be every now and then you'd be like, oh man, I've got like the perfect heir and blah, 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 and I married really well, and I'm building up this great kingdom, and all of a sudden it turns out he's gay. And you're like, fuck, what do I do? So,
Yeah,
and that was like such a twist in that game,
Yeah.
Where it would throw you like things like Imperator is like, there's like 10 different families that like control Rome. Okay, and then, so there are actual like characters in the game, but they're meaningless. Okay, because basically what you're doing is you're just controlling the state. Okay,
right.
and so and I mean the thing about it was that like, and it's been nerfed a little bit, but if you played Rome, you won everything. So, like it took you about 5 seconds to figure out the trade system. It was like, wait a minute, I need iron to make legionaries. Legionaries are like space marines. They're better than everything. And so I'm just going to trade all these grapes and shit for iron, all right? I'm going to make a fuckload of legionaries. I'm going to go around and just, like, fucking curb stomp everybody around me and create Rome in, like, 5 turns,
Get this, Jeff. Now I have the iron and the grapes.
And the grapes. Yeah, after a while, you did have both the iron and the grapes.
Oh, you just...
And all the salt and all the things. It was a game where, like, you could tell the developers were fighting about what was important. So, like, in terms of game design, not in terms of the actual, like, mechanics and stuff, and the software of the game, which was fine. It was a very pretty game. It was well done. So, like that. Like most of those games are, but you could just tell it was like, nobody had actually, like, sat down and played the motherfucker. So, or if they did so and like, okay, you're part of testing group C, and so you guys look at this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was weird.
Well, I guess the thing that I liked about CK2 after you showed me the ropes, because at first I was like, I don't know what to do, man. I click buttons and stuff doesn't happen.
You broke the fuck out of that game.
I did, but yeah, the fun part of that was, you're right, is there's this so if you go back to 80s literature, you could find any school book fair was littered with things called choose your own adventure books.
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
And they would give you these weird choices where it was like, do you want to look in the treasure chest or go down the stairs? And you're like, I have no good reason to do either, so I'm going to pick one. So, you open the treasure chest, and it says go page 43. You find treasure, and then it says go to page 66. And then some, like, genie spirit eats you.
Right, yeah. Right?
Yeah. Now, take that with some fairly interesting, simulation mechanics, and then when you're stuck with these, like, ramification of decision. I remember, like, I had the world on a string. I was running the whole joint, and I'm like, my king will not have a son.
Right.
And so I had to make a call. I said, all right, world, you're not going to believe this, but I think, like, like, I think a woman can do this job as well as any man.
Rabble.
Oh, yeah. So half the world was like, the fuck you said? Like, look, no, this is my daughter, all right? I trained her in the mystic arts of kingship or whatever, queenship, and she's like, hi. And then, like, half, like, the Islamic world was like, we don't accept this. And like, we don't accept you.
Yeah. So
there was this one problem I had. I was like, the church kept giving me grief. I'm like, all right, you know what? We're our own religion.
Yeah, we're going to be our own religion. Yeah, you excommunicate me, I excommunicate you.
I went to war with them.
Yeah.
And I beat the ever-living daylights out of them. And I was like, look, we could have been cool. It's like, now who's calling who to whose crusades, buddy?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was great. And,
it was one of the more unique games that I've played.
Well,
so once you learned it, it did take a little bit of time to learn. Yeah.
So I'm so confused. And you know what? And I will tell you, I can name exactly the type of people who would have rubbed the wrong way.
Oh, sure. Yeah, the Kevins of the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anybody that had some sort of, like, strict competitive bend to this.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's like, where's the balance? I'm like, this game has nothing to do with balance.
It's nothing. It's all about asymmetry. And so you don't fight people who are even with you in that game.
How you lopsided is up to you.
Right.
And much like the Ferengi that I am, I conquered a great house with money.
It was all money. Yeah.
Dude, I ruined the entire Klingon Empire with cash. It was like, your society fell apart.
Right.
As soon as
As soon as we figured out what the Great Vizier,
Christ,
yeah,
man.
of
When
Canterbury.
you saw that, you're like,
How much money do you have? How the fuck did you do it? This is like, well, I gotta launch a war. I'll buy all the mercenaries.
That's so stupid. Those guys are going to like fucking mercenary Google, and they're just like, "You work for me on the 7th?" It's like, nah, man, I'm booked up all season.
I'm booked up, yeah. I'm booked up for the Raiders, man. So, yeah.
It's like, oh man, I need you to go fight the Jeffelites. It's like, funny thing you say that.
You say that. We'll be seeing you a week early. Yeah.
Do me a favor. Just leave your back gate unlocked. We won't even wake you up. We'll be in and out before you're done. Yeah.
Yeah. It was too bad that game wasn't multiplayer. That would have been interesting. So,
Yes and no, man. That
it would have taken so
much.
long to play. So, I don't know, man. We had some pretty good Civ runs. I was actually thinking about firing that up the other day until you turned me on to A4.
Oh, okay.
So I'm happy with that at the moment. But, yeah, last week when I was sick and I was sitting there and tried to play like 5 minutes of Doom and was absolutely convinced it was going to make me barf.
Right.
I was sitting there looking at my Steam store and I forgot. We actually got pretty far into Civ 6. So
What stopped us? There was something about it where
it was the invasion of the faith. So remember they'd send priests all over your fucking land. So, and you couldn't kill them.
happen all the time in real life.
Happened all the time in real life, but the game was like, no, we're not going to let you do that. So, but I remember playing a shitload of Civ 4 with you. Before we got hooked on Revolution.
Wait.
We played a lot of Civ 4.
Oh, you're talking about 6. Did we played 5 for like a
I
little
never played
bit.
5. I have never
It was
played
not
5.
5?
I have not played 5.
Was 6 the one that we played for a while and we're like kind of like not getting it or kind of I don't remember.
We thought 4 was better. So
all my memories tell me that 4 is better, but I don't know.
better. Yeah. 4 was the one where either you and I, you would make a beeline to the Jews every single time.
You always beat me.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around. I thought I always wound up with like Confucianism or something.
No, I always.
And then it was our combined mission to stomp out Islam whenever it appeared. So remember, whoever discovered that became our instantaneous enemy.
sometimes it was one of us.
I think that did happen once or twice. Yeah,
It did. No, I remember you'd always beat me to it because I was always working on something else stupid, and
maybe it's the other way around. Then yeah.
I always wanted it, but that just meant having to like divert things away from what I thought was valuable. But
Right.
I remember the city building in that game being so weird that
It was kind of weird.
because I remember that like you had to like zone certain things.
That's Civ
and-
6.
That is
That's
6.
6.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 still had the single stack cities. 6 is the one with the unpacked cities. Where you have to have, like, this is an agricultural area, this is a fucking commercial district,
Okay. Yeah.
this is a military district.
This is like an art district. Yeah.
Right, culture or something like that.
Mm.
And we got pretty good at it for a little bit, but then, like, there were a few people who would play, like, completely religious, you know, which is basically, like, how you used to take shit over without fighting in that game. And we just got sick of it after a while.
Was that it? Okay.
So, because the computer would start spamming out their little dudes that you couldn't attack. It was like, oh, look at me, I'm a helpless priest. And it's like, you're bringing Islam into my territory, buddy. So,
Right.
this is a capital offense.
Oh, no, it's like if you go to the Ministry of Excuses, I can make one up. It's like you
Right.
have the pox.
Right, yeah,
and
you have the
you're
pox.
not stepping foot in this where he,
Right.
it's like we're going to quarantine you for 14 days in the spike pit.
In the punishment district. Yeah.
Well, it's funny in Age of Empires 4, you build holy men, and they're healers.
Yeah, all they do is run around and heal people.
So you kill the shit out of those people.
I haven't seen too many enemy ones of those yet. So
Yeah, that was no, those were an exclusive like my thing. I was like,
okay.
What do these guys do? At first, I was like, you know, motherfuckers just spread the good word. I was like, what's that? I was like, what do you do? And then
boost morale.
I want that. And then yeah, I chucked him in the group, and it said like turn auto heal on. I'm like, well, duh, why wouldn't I? He's walking around, all these green pluses start popping up.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Okay, so if I do,
Oh, you're doing the math, aren't you? Yeah.
I did a little bit of radio math, and there was a version of this where I can kind of turn these guys into more of this if I do this, because there was. I'm telling you, I was getting my butt kicked for a while. Then I just realized, like, I keep playing this like an old school RTS, and I keep expecting things to be a hard counter to other things, and they're not.
No, they're not.
It's like, all right, so this is a soft counter to this, but how can I bolster this?
Right.
You know, and you're like, all right, but I don't want to clump all these guys together, because then all the guys and the horses walk as slowly as the priests. So,
Yeah, so that's why I want to play with some of the other factions, because I've been playing like my skirmishes with just the English and stuff. I got them all kind of figured out now. What I started doing with them was just creating the basic infantry, not the guys with the sticks, but the guys with
sword guys.
Yeah, sword guys.
Yeah.
Just make a fuckload of those.
There's a counter to that.
I know there's a counter to that, but the computer doesn't do it. So yeah.
They have crossbows, senor.
Yeah, but if you make a bunch of those in the beginning, it's like having light tanks. It works pretty good. Yeah,
I got you.
So, you know, and then you just go over there and you hack down all his dudes. You know. But that's the traditional way to play an RTS. So, like, every RTS that I've ever played, I figured out how to rush you on something. You know, with the exception of that World War II one. So, which you could do.
Which was that, the Company Hero?
Company of Heroes, you could do it.
What would you rush them with?
Jeeps.
Whoa!
Yeah,
okay, that could be fun.
You could crank out 2 dudes with a 50 cal on a Jeep pretty fast.
That
all
sounds
right,
great.
Yeah, and then you just roll in their base and just start machine gunning their dudes. You know, yeah. You know, but I mean, it didn't take him too long to get past that. So you had to do it pretty quick. Or the other thing, you could tower rush in that game. You could build these little bunkers that had a machine gun pit in it.
Oh, okay.
And so you could build them wherever you could actually see, all right, as long as you actually had a line of sight on it. So you could just stamp them out. You know, kind of like the old fucking...
sandbag.
The sandbag trick, yeah. And so I hadn't tried the tower rush on this one just quite yet, but I might give that a shot tonight.
That also works, but they're not... The thing is, the towers are not invincible. They're not...
No, I mean with the stone wall.
Oh,
So,
yeah, that works. Yeah, that definitely works. And you can also use it to sort of... You also use it to sort of direct traffic and also misdirect, right?
Okay.
Because they're like, what are you building over here? It's like, none of your business. It's like, this is a strategically important wall.
Right, yeah.
It's like in the shape of the letters of my name.
So, you see it from fucking space.
The monument to my hubris.
My hubris.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll check it out a little bit more. I got to get past this mission that I'm on now. I finished that one where you beat the French king, and so there's like 2 more left in the Normandy, whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I was thinking I'd just skip over and start doing the Mongols, because I've always liked the Mongols, man. So, I don't know. Some games do them right and some don't. So, like Civ Revolut, and they were bad. Civ 4, they were really good.
They seemed like they'd be good, but they ended up not being that great.
Civ 4, they were really good. So, the actual game.
Okay.
Revolut, and they were bad. So, but Revolution had some broke civs in it that you found. So, it's like Jeff's not allowed to play as the Chinese. So,
or the Japanese.
Or the Japanese.
They had an equally busted, I would say even more busted mechanic, to be honest with you.
Well, they're the ones that you got like dollars off of, or no, you got science off of ocean, right?
Like fish.
Yeah. Fish. Yeah.
Like water. Water tiles. It was water tiles. Yeah. You got 2 things plus a food.
Right, that's right. They were busted as shit. So
were the Chinese. That's like
the Chinese grew faster, right? They got an extra food on. They
started
tile.
at 3.
That's right. Yep.
Every city started at 1 bigger than it needed to be. So if you had the money, build a city, crap out settler, build new city, crap out settler, and then suddenly you have spread the entire world.
Hit your right trigger, Jeff.
And then you're like, what are you doing, Jeff? It's like, making bootleg Panasonics. You know, and
setting up a Huawei.
Oh, I didn't tell you this. I got assigned like a full-blown piece of like Chinese propaganda to
on your Twitter?
To transcribe.
Really?
Yes, it was
from China.
China adjacent. It was what is it? CNA?
I don't know what that is.
That's the it's that like Asian news network that works like heavily in Singapore and stuff like that. And they had a partnership with China, right?
Okay.
Where they were talking about all of these. It was called about the way the superiority of the digital Silk Road and
the Silk Road,
the digital Silk Road.
Okay.
And I gotta tell you, this was like embarrassing because they're talking about like, look at how much undersea fiber optic that China is laying for people in the Philippines, right? And they're playing this off like this is some like humanitarian gesture.
We all know that's bullshit.
You're full of shit.
Yeah.
They were talking about how much SinoPox they were giving away. And
SinoPox?
Not SinoPox, Sinovac. Sorry,
it's for the SinoPox. Yeah.
Which I mean, it's syringed Visine, but whatever.
Dry eyes.
They're talking. They have some like shills out there like talking about like China's giving us so much of this like vaccine. I'm like, and they're talking about like the superiority of like TikTok and things like this. I'm like, what is this bullshit I'm doing here? That's where Huawei came in. They came in and they talked to the Huawei goons, and they're talking about these initiatives where they're bringing in like young talent in these contests, and they're saying, I was like, this is bullshit.
Yeah. I saw that Instagram basically is turning itself into TikTok now.
I believe it.
Yeah, no, I believe it too. But I mean, like, I saw some people. So there's a couple news people that I follow. I'm about to unfollow them because I'm getting sick of one of the dudes on there. But
what, is he blowing up your feed?
No, he's not blowing up my feed. He's getting a little full of himself, and I've kind of been watching him for a couple years, and he's getting worse and worse.
Oof.
And the polls that he posts now are so fucking leading that it's like, okay, you're drinking your own goddamn Kool-Aid. You got it, brother. So yeah, I know it's kind of rough to see someone go that way, but anyway, it's happening. But anyway, they were bitching about that today. All right, and I was sitting there thinking about it. I was like, actually, this is not a bad thing, man, because at least Instagram's still an American platform. All right, so it's owned by Meta. So,
right.
So the more TikTok competitors that you have out there, all right, the easier it will be to actually tell TikTok to go fucking, jump in a lake. Yeah, at some point in time. Because then, I mean, like, I haven't seen a good, like debrief on what exactly happened during Trump's presidency. how that sorted out, because he was going to pull the pin on it.
He was.
And then he was trying to get him to sold somebody, and then that person, I think it was Microsoft, and then Microsoft was like, fuck no, we're not letting that Trojan horse in our shit. You know? So,
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and, you know, there was just, like, all kinds of, like, well, you know, it'll be American owned. The data will be owned in America, but then you find out actually it's got to be collected in China first.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, this is so fucking bad, you know? And I don't know how people get monetized on TikTok, but see, that's going to be the trick, is like, you're going to have a lot of people going to fight for it because it's still their livelihood, man.
So, okay, yeah, you're absolutely right. And this was, again, another one of the pieces of that shill shit that they were doing, was they would go to, like, a couple of, what are the group, it's the ASEAN.
Oh, the Asian, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I had to look at
trade organization.
Yeah, I was like, I don't even know these guys. And then it's China and a bunch of people they exploit, and they
yeah, including Singapore.
yeah. They had like some Singapore people talking about, oh no, this partnership is great, and they would go to it was the Philippines. That's right, because it was Asian people with Spanish names, and
there's only one.
Yeah, it's weird. They're interviewing like Juan Mendoza, and you think I'm joking?
No, I know you're not.
No,
man. I've you and I both. We worked with so many Filipinos over the year.
In fact, you know the reason for it, right? What's the
Spain?
That's all there is to it, right? It's named after what?
Well, yeah, and everybody there is fucking Catholic too.
Yeah.
So you know, that's the thing that a lot of people don't recognize, is that you got one of the most Catholic nations in the entire world, right off the coast of China there. So you know.
Yeah. What they're doing is they're looking at these itty bitty people in these villages, and they're showing how, becoming a TikTok star brought great wealth to my family.
Right. Yeah.
We never had tiled floors before. Now, because of TikTok, and they'd actually be saying, like, thanks to TikTok,
right.
I'm like, this is some bullshit.
So fucked up, man.
Oh, my God. And there was one dude on there who was driving me nuts. I know he's legit. I've seen him before. His last name is Ma. He's an economist. You know, obviously it's not Jack Ma, but it's another guy who rolls in the economist circle in the Asian sector, and he is just blowing this Chinese hot air.
Oh yeah,
just
there's a couple of
my ass.
Yeah, there's actually some American economists that'll blow that air up your ass. You know,
fucking dorks.
Well, yeah, no, I agree with you on that one, but at the same point in time, like ever since I started watching them China guys. Which they renamed it. It's actually the China Show.
I noticed.
Now. That's really good.
Yeah, this last episode.
It was like, I wonder who you had to pay in order to get that, man. But that's brilliant. So
it was great. Yeah. And there is a hate faction for those guys online.
Oh my God! It is once you learn to recognize it. So it is like just in their comments or on their Reddit. It's really bad on their Reddit.
You saw that?
I've seen it on their Reddit.
Boy.
Yeah. So I just figured I'd wander over there at one point in time, and I was like, "Holy shit!" You know, and those guys are just like, whatever, prove me wrong, piss off. You know. You know, they're great, but ever since I started following those guys, man, I have a little bit more sympathy for some people here in the United States who just completely they just buy into it hook, line, and sinker because it's the narrative and it fits a lot of other people's narrative too.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, America's fucked because China's doing so well, blah blah blah, and these guys are like, actually, they suck. They're going to continue to suck. You don't have to be afraid of them, you know. And look at all the bullshit that they're up to. And then once you learn to start seeing it. It's like, oh my God, it's fucking everywhere, you know? And it's like, it's so amateurish too. Yeah. You know, it's like the glasses. You know? It's like these show all Chinese, you know, messages around me, but, you know, rather than saying reproduce and stuff like that, it's just like if you graffiti the place up, China's awesome, right. And all kinds of shit. It's like, that doesn't belong to you.
Well, it's funny. Yeah, you've got the point. It's like you spray paint out in the open, and you have enough people like, because it does. Yeah. I guess they do. Yeah. I never thought about it that way. Yeah. No, and I guess I would always. There's a certain element to that has always existed where, you know, it's the same people that are just kind of like, you've never had a pretzel in Europe. You know, it's the same class of people where it's always like, somebody else has it figured out so much better than you do. You're just so closed-minded. You fucking, you know.
Oh god, the 4 hours of time that I spent on Not America.
Are those your two groups now?
Those are my two groups. You types of countries, man. You can absolutely instantaneously tell you are not on America. So, you know. And I like even on videos and stuff that I see on YouTube now, you know, where it has like international compilations. Like I watch this guy from Australia who's fucking hilarious. And he does all these like reaction videos and shit, and those are so childish, but they're just funny. You know, and he cranks them out every couple days, so it's just like, okay, what do you have to say about this? It's just watching like these compilation videos. It's like, that's not America. That's not America. Right. That is America.
Right.
That makes sense. Right. That's not America. That's not America. You know. So, and I liked your comeback on Twitter the other day, man. You're just like, no, and I'm not gonna go there. You know, so you can't use 40% of your water for industrial use. So you think I'm gonna go there? So,
like half of your water isn't fit to lubricate gears.
Yes, it isn't.
Man,
it isn't
like,
fit to cool machines. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Put that in your radiator, your car will melt.
No, man, I'm serious. And that's, you know, it's funny because you can sniff it out, because you can see these people that are trying to act American, right?
Right.
But it's just not quite there.
No.
Look, it's especially noticeable for me because I work with so many foreigners on a regular basis, right? So one of my students, she's actually the mother of another student, right? I constantly correct her on this. Is anytime she fucks it up, right? I always going back to like, don't say, I went today Costco.
I went today Costco?
Right.
Yeah, no.
It's like, you'll always sound like a foreigner. She's like, what's the problem with that? I was like, well, okay. The problem here is you have subject, I went, okay? Subject and the verb, okay? So what you're going to have shortly thereafter is what? It's either going to be a subject, complement, or direct object.
Right, yeah.
Right? Okay. Why would you put that further away from the verb? How does that help anybody?
No.
So it's like, okay, I went today Costco. It's not, no. You went Costco today.
I went to Costco today.
Right. That too. Okay. There's that.
Yeah, no, you need the prepositions.
But that's the thing is, it's still English. Okay. And I understand.
I know what you mean, but you know, you just totally outed yourself.
But no, and that's the thing is, when you come across China shill Twitter and you have people that are almost American, right?
Oh, they are not.
It's easy for me to sniff out. I can just look at your conjugation and say,
nope.
You know, you say you're from Metropolis, Kansas, but
yeah, Smallville, eh?
But oh, I get it. You're from the Shenzhen district. I get it.
Right?
Yeah. I got it. No. So that's the especially telling thing for me is just like, you know, small order things, and the reason I'm telling you had Russian students.
Sure.
So you know, I'm like, you guys hate articles. You just
they don't use them. Yeah. Anybody from Eastern Europe, they don't use articles at all. So
it's so weird.
You know, and the same thing with people like. So I've had some students from Western Europe who had excellent English. Okay, but you know, still you could always tell. So in some respects. That, okay, so English is not your initial language, all right? That's fine. There's no problem with that, all right? The thing is when you try and pass it off, and, you know, it's like, you're not fooling me, man. I grew up here. I know how the language is supposed to sound. I know what conjugations are commonly misdone or commonly used incorrectly, and you don't even use those, you know? In a manner that's actually consistent.
You're not even fucking it up right.
You're not even fucking it up right. Yeah, that's the whole thing. So, like, I mean, you can get on anything, like on Twitter YouTube comments or whatever, and you can say, okay, this guy's a native speaker, even though this is riddled with fucking mistakes. It's totally
Everything
wrong.
about this is wrong.
Yeah, it's just bad. But yeah, okay. So you learned how to you learned how to type in the Text Nation. So got it. So in fact, I'm going to guess that you're somewhere less than the age of 23. So because you don't know how to actually type on a keyboard. So you're very good with your thumbs. You're going to beat me hands down in any of those contests any day. All right, but. So your phone doesn't throw up red squiggly lines underneath your shit. So
right.
So yeah.
Right.
But and I mean it's fine. So there's nothing wrong with that. But then you get those guys out there who I've noticed it more so not just on the China show guys and their stuff, but even other videos that I come across every now and then. Okay, so ever since I went to university, I've been on a roller coaster video kick lately. I'm like, where am I going next, man? So because
wow, okay, that's cool,
dude. I have changed my outlook on vacations. I am not a sit on the beach kind of guy. We are going to a fucking amusement park. So,
oh man, your dad is really starting to catch up with you.
He is starting to catch up with me, man.
Yeah.
So, because he was kind of the same way when he got a little bit older. So, but anyway, I'm sitting here seeing some of these videos that are done by people who are visiting the United States. Okay, and they talk about the United States a little bit. Well, we went to Six Flags, blah blah blah. So apparently there's a badass one in Ohio that I need to go to. By the way, but anyway, yeah, I don't know. And just in the course of the video, someone will say something about how cool this is and stuff, and then bam, you start seeing those comments in there. Where it's like China, better roller coaster here. There's something like that. It's like, oh, come on, man. I've seen all these construction videos now of these guys, and I got hooked on this because there's a couple guys on not SimCity, Skylines that I still follow. And then occasionally, so they'll say, oh, mega highway construction today, this is the next episode in my series, yada, yada. And so you watch that, and the next thing you do is start throwing up these videos of them, building these fucking super highways in China. All right, just because the keywords are
right.
And you read the comments of those things. There was one that I saw the other day where it's this, entire highway that's built along this mountainside on fucking stilts. It looks like something that you would do in SimCity if you were trying to use all of your money. Okay? Kind of thing. All right? And it's got this overpass in it that's imagine a horseshoe, just so you can get from going from the right-hand lanes to the left-hand lanes. There's not a place to get off. Okay? It's just in case you get halfway up this and you decide, now I'm going to go the other way now. Okay? And all the comments are oh, this is brilliant, this is genius, blah, 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 and, this is such good engineering, and yada, yada, yada. And I'm sitting there, there's not a goddamn car on this thing, okay? There's just this one dude and, maybe a truck way back there driving, and I'm sitting there thinking about this, I was like, why is this here? And nobody in the comments is asking that.
Well, and
you got this monstrous 6-lane highway that's got no cars on it. I mean, you're not going to find a 6-lane highway in the United States. It's not fucking jammed. So
no.
Otherwise, it'd be a 4-lane highway, or maybe even a 2-lane.
A 2-lane highway. And if it's down to a 2-lane highway, then it is a whole bunch of people using Waze to try and find ways to not take the highway.
Not use that.
It's wow, I have to detour all the way around through Nebraska, but it saves me 45 minutes. I'll do it.
I'll do it, man.
And I will stop at that mega gas station.
Right, yeah.
Take my picture.
Get me a whole bunch of Slim Jims.
Because you look at that and you're like, you're saying this is genius, but this is 2 days worth of rain from being a disaster.
Oh, yeah. The whole thing will come down.
You understand this, right? It's the same. You and I saw this at the same time. Was that those people? It didn't just make it through Twitter. It made it into normie space or whatever you want to call it, where they were showing videos of the fucking trains that go through buildings that people live in, and people were like, "This is genius." I'm like, no, man, this is fucking dumb, right? Because they would have the residential like towers
I know
would
what you're talking
actually
about.
have train stops in there.
Yeah, like Cyberpunk. Yeah.
Like, no, man, this is where bad people go when they die. This is like, because there are people trying to sleep in those fucking buildings.
Yeah.
Right? And their walls are made out of like graham crackers and toothpaste.
Right.
So they have to hear this monstrous thing come through there every 15 minutes.
Well, it's not even just that, man. It's like, okay, so this train services a building. Right, yeah. As opposed to like, oh, there's a train station that services a block.
And it all comes down to, okay, because if it just services the building, it's either the people in the building do it, or you bring in a whole shit ton of riffraff that are there because that's where the stop is. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, this is dumb. And then the other part, as soon as they pointed out the what do they call that? It's where you like well, so we brought in the grasshoppers to eat the crickets, and so then we brought in the cats to eat the grasshoppers, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Like, and then like, so what do you do with the gorillas? And they're like, well, they just migrate south, right?
They just migrate south.
And when they started explaining, it's like, okay, so the top layer of government will go to this guy and say, here's 50,000 to do this job. The guy says, okay, I'll pocket 25 and find somebody to do it for 25.
Right.
And they say there's like 4 levels of this.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And then your escalator blows up.
Right, yeah. This is why Chinese escalators kill people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They become stairs, then depth traps.
Right, yeah.
Right? And that's...
Oh, you've seen the videos on that shit.
Yes, I have.
No,
that's why I made the joke.
Yeah.
I was like, shit. And the whole thing about like the fear of liability... Right. I've seen 15 people get destroyed in a street, but the dude cruises down the street. It's like, well... Okay, if I stop, that's my ass.
Yeah, no, it's totally backwards, man. So it's so messed up. Yeah, so like those guys, they like opened my eyes to a lot of that stuff, man. And now you can't unsee it, once it's out there.
No.
And then when like I'm on listening to other podcasts and stuff where people are like, oh my God, like who is doing this?
They're gonna overtake us by 2024.
Yeah, no, there was someone on Rogan the other day who was doing this, and it's just like no, like I'm sorry, man, I just can't buy anything else you have to say now, man, because like I'm a nobody, all right, and one YouTube channel with 2 guys who actually speak truth, okay, and are open about it, and like, hey man, we don't get everything right. If we get something wrong, fucking point it out. And stuff like that. But then, just kind of keep at it steadily for, a couple years. And then you get to the point in time, it's like, well, okay, man, this wasn't that hard to figure out, but then you see other people going the other way, man. So on it. And it's just, it's like, man, if I can do that amount of work, just invested watching just this one show, an hour a week for the last year and a half, I'm sure you could get up to speed in about 20 minutes,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, you're some dude from Harvard who's supposed to be some kind of economist, and you can't even do that, man.
Because then you turn around and you say, either you're not as bright as you think you are, or Harvard standards are not quite as stringent as I think either.
So, yeah. No, it just comes out of that, man. You think you're smarter than what you are. So, you get to the point in time where you do all this good heavy lifting in one area, and you get lazy in others. Nobody's a generalist anymore. And so you get, like, even Blythe was doing that today. So, on some stuff.
Why, was he up his own ass about something?
No, he's not up his own ass about something, man. He talks about the shit that he actually knows about, and then he tries to tie everything else to it. He doesn't say, well, I don't know anything about that.
Oh, okay.
And so it's like, it's like...
He used to. I don't know.
Yeah, he used to be like that, but now, like, it's not the Mark and Carrie show. It's the Carrie Ask Smart Questions show, So,
that's right, yeah.
And I don't like that, man, because she's fucking smart, too,
She is, but there's a point where it's like, you used to be, like, my partner, but now I just, like, make you appear out of the chair. You're like my assistant.
It's a good call, John.
Right.
You're absolutely right, John.
Okay, so last thing on this, if you saw that, did you see the COVID tests?
Mm-mm.
The footage they got were, because they're like, well, everything in China works on a quota system. It's like, yeah. So they've got one of the people who's doing the COVID test, right?
One person? Wait.
Well, no, just one of them. They have them on film.
Okay.
And so the thing is, look, you're supposed to do like 5,000, right? Or whatever. You have a quota, right? Mm-hmm. And they've got this lady.
Oh, yeah.
And she's just testing herself over.
Oh, no,
over
I hadn't seen
again.
that.
And she's just swabbing herself, putting it in the thing. And she does this, like, I don't know, 25 times on the film.
Yeah.
Like, Patrick, I'm going to tell you, like, what kind of a fucking outroar would that cause in the States? Like, you wouldn't be like...
Dude, you'd be Twitter famous in 30 seconds. So, you'd be Twitter famous. You'd be Twitter notorious, man.
Yeah.
So, like, in seconds. So, like... I mean, there's so much bullshit on Twitter as is, but, like, when you get something that's, like, that legit stupid... You know, and especially in this country where it'd be like, oh, this is a great opportunity to bash the government again. It'd be everywhere.
Yeah.
It'd be everywhere. In 5 minutes, Joe Biden would get impeached. So, you know, I don't know, man.
Look, I get it.
It's crazy.
I do understand it. I understand there's a lot of unrest, and I don't want to dive into that. No. I know a lot of our biggest fights right now are cultural things, where it's like,
they are.
We have these kind of books in the library, and they're endorsing these sort of lifestyles. I'm like, okay, I can see why you agree with this. I can see why you disagree with this, right? But it's also not... The government workers are testing themselves for COVID 500 times a day and putting them in the vials.
Yeah.
And then that's how they're making the decisions to actually lock down entire cities.
Oh, yeah. And now they're not on lockdown anymore. Bullshit.
They just did it again.
They just did it again.
They just did it again.
I know. So, and they just asked G just yesterday, they're like, you know, are we going to keep doing this? He's like, yes. Yes, we are. And so are you. You know?
Oh, right.
Right, yeah. I got a blast.
Yeah, I saw the China rule sign. That's right. I don't even need the glasses anymore.
Yeah.
All right. We're...
Yeah. $1.31.
Yeah,
okay.
$1.31. Final thoughts, because I think...
Final thoughts. Next show, I'm going to share Douglas Murray's grand unified theory of wokeism. So.
Oh, yeah, we were supposed to.
I haven't quite finished his latest book, so
okay.
I've got it. I'll kill it off this weekend.
Okay.
It's quite good.
Very interesting.
It's quite good. Yeah. So that'll be on the docket for next Wednesday.
Okay.
Unless William makes his presence known and has, you know, I don't know, extremely profound things to share.
Well, unless he, you know, disrupts us with Willisms, which certainly he's...
Yeah, Willisms are fine, man.
Yeah. No, he's the common man, not intellectual elites like us.
Yeah. We're dorks. All right, your final thought?
We're dorks.
We're dorks. All right.
Okay.
All right, I'm Pat.
I'm Jeffrey.
Hitting the button.
We're dorks.
Off we go to dorkdom.
Mm-hmm.